How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be going over the best places to hang out and farm best in slot gear, so you can put together a killer build and start jumping into that sweet endgame content. But first, please consider giving the video a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps out massively. Now, let's get into it. As you're running around the endgame zones in New World, you might come across areas full of people just sitting around, and you may be wondering what it is they're actually doing. These areas are what are known as gear farming spots. Everyone groups up and farms an area together, getting tons of legendary loot in the process. This is a really good way to get gear options for your future builds. But you also may be wondering which of these spots you should go to maximize your returns, as there's quite a few of them, and that's what we'll be looking at today. I'm going to spend 30 minutes in the 3 current top gear farming spots in New World, as well as 30 minutes doing chest runs, and then compare the results to find out where you should be spending your time to get the most legendary pieces per minute. Now, to keep results as accurate as possible, I'm going in with my regular gear and not buffing up in any way for all of the spots. But if you wanted to maximize your returns, you could get some luck gear, luck food, flag up, and get music buffs as well, to get the most out of your farms. If you are going flagged up though, I'd only do that if you have a large group of flagged friends to go with, because if not, you could be losing out on loot sacks by not being part of the larger PvE farm group. Also, there are chests in some of these areas, and to keep numbers accurate, I won't be grabbing any of them. But if you're out farming in these spots, you should for sure do so, for added loot. A lot of these locations will also get you other resources than just gear, like craft mods, coins, and territory standing. But the purpose of these tests is to find the best spot to farm gear, so all I'll be focusing on, when it comes to results, is legendary pieces of gear. These spots will get you tons of legendary pieces, so much that it becomes difficult to deal with it all. But don't worry, I'll quickly go over at the end of this video how I go about sorting my loot. And finally, before we get into the first spot, keep in mind that New World uses a loot biasing system, so make sure to equip the kinds of weapons and armor you're after, so you'll have higher odds of those pieces dropping. You'll see from the results at the end of this video that your loot heavily depends on what you are wearing. Now, let's get grinding. The first spot we're going to go over is Mercy Redoubt, over in Nighthaven. Simply teleport into the Church of Memory fast travel point, like seen on screen, and run a bit northwest to this farm spot. Usually, you'll find a ton of people here just sitting around killing mobs, and if that's the case, simply X up an area chat asking to join the group and get farming. If you're busy or lazy, you can simply sit here, go AFK, and come back every couple of minutes to pick up your loot sacks. Or, you can help your group out to speed things up. To help, just run around the little camp killing all you can, and keep checking just outside either entrance, as a couple mobs spawn out there as well. I love using ice gauntlets here, and throwing an ice pylon in the middle of the camp to help the group out even more. But no matter how you go about it, you're sure to get a ton of gear here in no time at all. Now, let's look at the fun stuff, the results of my 30-minute grind. As you can see on screen, here's what I got after 30 minutes of farming here. Keep in mind, I did not open any chests while I was here, to keep results accurate, but if you choose to come here, I highly recommend doing so. But all in all, 28 pieces of legendary gear in 30 minutes of pretty casual gameplay is not bad at all. Now it was time to sort through what I wanted to keep and what I wanted to salvage before heading off to the next farming spot. I'll go over how I go about this process later on in the video. Next up, I headed over to another spot in Nighthaven that's also very popular, in the Tower of the Sun. Simply teleport into the Grand Carnival outpost as seen on screen and run a bit west to the tower. Run up to the top of the tower, and up there will be 2 elite bosses, the memory of Heru and Ampu. They spawn incredibly fast after you defeat them, and there's usually a stack of people up here farming them, so X up an area chat to join the group, and either get farming, or go AFK and pop back in every now and then to pick up your bags. There's also 3 elite chests just outside the boss room that you can go grab in between kills, but make sure not to be in the doorway when the bosses reset, or you could find yourself being flung off the top of the tower. I would spend the next 30 minutes here grinding, and boy was I impressed with the results of this farm spot. As you'll see on screen, I got a whopping 111 pieces of legendary gear here in 30 minutes. Plus, I also got a ton more coins and resources from these bosses, even though I won't be taking that into account when looking at the overall results. If you're looking for a ton of pieces fast, so you can sort through them and try to find some BIS gear, this is an amazing spot to farm. But after sorting and storing my newly acquired gear, it was off to spot number 3. The next spot takes us over to the Elysian Wilds, on the Isle of Zurvan. Simply teleport into the Shrine of the Lion fast travel point, as seen on screen, and swim across the body of water to the east. Head on over to this spot on the map, and if this portal is open, stand in the middle and be teleported up to the farming spot. If not, just take the path up the mountain until you reach this platform, where Pugnacious Perutu spawns. You should see a ton of people gathered here on this little platform, so join up with them and get to farming. These gorillas are usually pretty tricky, but if enough people are here, they should be no trouble at all. They also have a lot of displacing moves, so if you get knocked off the cliff, simply head back up via the same method you used previously. Don't stress about losing loot, as while you're coming back up, you'll still be getting credit for the kills thanks to your teammates. You'll have a stack of sacks to claim when you get back up here. Each time you kill Perutu, 3 more gorillas will spawn for you to kill, and once all of them are dead, You'll have a few seconds to go loot all their drops until they spawn again, and you repeat the process. You'll then grind away like you would have at any of the previous farming spots. A nice additional bonus to this spot is there's 2 artifacts locked behind these gorillas in Boltcaster and Lifetaker, so you can knock those off the list pretty easily while you're over here. And you also have a ton of other nice resources dropping from these gorillas as well, other than just the gear. But I put the countdown timer on and got to grinding. 30 minutes later, I was left with all of this loot, an astonishing 125 legendary pieces in 30 minutes. Pretty wild. There's also an elite beast horde chest you can grab up here as well, but I skipped it to keep results accurate. Overall, an amazing spot to farm, but I wasn't done yet. To finish off my tests, I wanted to see how chest runs compared to these grind spots, so I X'd up in recruitment chat for a world tour and spent the next 30 minutes farming chests. To join one of these in recruitment chat, there'll be so many different names, from Ada to Imp to Merc to Mines to Trib to Isle, so if you don't really understand any of this, simply type X chest run or X world tour in recruitment chat, and when you get invited to a group, see where everyone is on the map and go join them. From there, just follow everyone around from chest to chest and watch the loot come flying in. There's always tons of these chest runs going on, as it's a great way to get gear, coins, and umbral crystals. The overall gear numbers from chest runs are hard to get consistent anyway, as every chest run location has different numbers of chests and travel times. So I just joined the first group I could get, followed them wherever they chose to go, and gathered my results that way. But after 30 minutes of chest hopping, I was left with all of this loot. As you'll see, this method left me with a ton more resources, coins, and umbral crystals than any other method, which helps out your character more on a whole, but it was a lot more click intensive than the other methods. But the main stat I was looking for was pieces of legendary gear, and for that, I managed to get 83 pieces in the 30 minutes I spent chest running. A very solid return, especially considering everything else I got in the process as well. But now it's time to compare results, before quickly going over how I organized all this gear I gathered. As you'll see on screen, from the first spot, Mercy Redoubt, I managed to get 0.93 pieces of legendary gear per minute. Spot number 2, Tower of the Sun, saw me getting 3.7 pieces per minute. Spot number 3, Isle of Zurvan, saw me getting 4.16 pieces per minute. And the Elite Chest Run saw me getting 2.7 pieces per minute. That makes the Isle of Zurvan the best spot when it comes to getting legendary pieces as fast as possible. But if that's the case, why would there be anyone at any of the other spots, you may be wondering? And that's simply because of the kind of loot you can get from each spot. For starters, chest runs will always be popular due to the sheer amount and variety of resources you get. Not just the gear, but the coins, the sellable items, and the umbral crystals. It's a great all-rounder. Then, when it comes to the farm spots, you need to take into account drop tables, and that's what we use a site like New World Database for. For Mercy Redoubt, you can search for that area on the site. Then you'll see all the mobs you'll be facing during the grind, and you can individually look at their drop tables to make sure they actually are able to drop the piece you need. For Tower of the Sun, you want to look at the 2 elite bosses you'll be farming, the Memory of Heru and the Memory of Ampu, and go through their drop tables. And for the Isle of Zurvan, you want to look up the drop tables for the 4 bosses you'll be killing, Pugnacious Perutu, Annoyed Angosia, Agitated Erisea, and Irritable Ignacia. Before you pick your spot, go through and make sure the item you're after actually drops from said location, and then head on over there. Because every boss drops different things, each of these spots should always remain active, unless nerfed of course. But the devs have confirmed that they do like the concept of gear farming locations being in the game. But, if a spot is too popular and it causes server stability issues, they may go in and nerf it, like they did with the old spider farm spot. If that does happen for any of these locations, I'll make sure to let you know in the pinned comment of the video. I believe a minor nerf is inevitable, as legendary gear is way too easy to get at the moment, but until then, let's keep on grinding on. Now, like promised at the start of this video, let's quickly go over gear sorting before we end it, as this is something you'll need to do as you're getting your loot. As you saw from the results, after 2 hours of farming, I had 347 pieces of legendary gear. That's pretty wild. So what did I do with it all? First, you can go through and get rid of anything without a gem socket in it, because currently, you absolutely want a gem slot for each of your pieces of gear. It's easy to tell which pieces of gear have the gem slot on it, as they have the small circle on their icon. I like to throw in storage all of my gem slot pieces and quickly salvage everything else. Then, when I have a good stack of items, I'll sort through everything by gear type. So for example, I'll take out every helmet piece I got, and one by one look at them, putting the good pieces to the side to compare at the end which will be the piece I go with, and salvage all the bad perk combos. If space isn't an issue for you, you can always hang on to them though, if you want to make a couple of other builds in the future. But I do that piece by piece, until I have the absolute best pieces in every slot, based on how I want my build to perform. When it comes to what perks to look out for, that is a you decision, based on what you want from your build and what you feel like it's lacking. There's tons of great videos on YouTube you can search for though, to kind of get a baseline on what kind of build you want to create, but then you need to decide on the final few perks based on your playstyle. Now, I know everyone likes to play MMOs differently, and that's the beauty of the genre. You can. New World is no different. If this doesn't look fun to you, You don't have to do it. You can get gear from pretty much any activity in the game, from expeditions to PvP to catacombs. You can go hunting for sets or artifacts. There's so many options, so just make sure you're having fun out there. This is just here if you want to do it, but it's by no means necessary if it isn't your cup of tea. But that covers the best way to farm best in slot gear in New World. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below, and I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. Also, if the videos of any help to you, please consider giving it a like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, have a good one. Thanks for watching another video, and a massive shout out to all the channel members and patrons seen on screen now. Links to how to become one in the video description. If you'd like to learn more about the powerful gear sets you can get in New World, click on the playlist to the left. Or, if you'd like to learn how to choose and upgrade the right artifact for your build, click on the video to the right.